Hey guys, this is Goldbug Asia. Today we're making a video on the differences between allocated storage versus bank storage. This is a quick post-mortem report after having done storage on both for one entire year. So kind of want to make this video and to talk to you guys about what to particularly watch for. For us, we are doing the storage in Hong Kong. So when you're making your own comparison, make sure you're checking your local rates for both on the bank and for the people that you're storing with to make sure you're doing good apple-to-apple comparison. So we're going to go through a little bit of the cost breakdown and probably talk a little bit of some of the other details surrounding it. So firstly, as you guys all know, Hong Kong is one of the places that has one of the probably the most heaviest flow of precious metal exchange, and thus the pricings are quite competitive. In terms of the storage, I have talked to some of my friends in North America. They tend to have been given quotes that's a little bit higher than what I'll be presenting here. So again, make sure you're doing your local checks. So in my particular case, not revealing exactly who that I'm doing the storage with, is that we're doing the testing for approximately a small amount of silver, because in our case, since we're only doing tests, we didn't want to just move a lot of gold around, and also the pricing with storage fee actually does rack up quite a bit. So we'll go through a little bit of breakdown in just a second. Now, in this particular quote, as you can see, for storing approximately, anywhere between 0 to 5,000 ounces, you're paying about 1% of the metal value. So, which means that's 1. And you can get a good as a rate of up down to 0.75% of the metal value per year if you store a lot. Now, obviously, if you're storing gold, that's going to cost you a lot more. So if you actually do the calculation, which we'll present later on in the video, just storing as little as 500 ounces, you're literally paying $800 US per month, which literally means you're giving them almost an ounce of a gold equivalent. Today's gold price around 1,200 is a little, you're giving them $800, which is quite a bit of gold per month just to store about 500. So do think twice before you go about it. But this is a comparison about allocated versus bank. So let's talk through the rest of this material here. So firstly, I want to kind of show you our particular storage here is, as you can see, in our particular storage, we've stored about in total 1,500 ounces of silver. So again, this are I'm talking about 110 ounce, which is 1,000 ounce, plus 500 ounce, which is 500 ounce. We added together, that's about 1,500 ounce. So just for the convenience of comparison, that came to a fee of about $21.19 per month. This is our monthly invoice. So if you break this down, you can calculate approximately $7 of storage per month for 500 ounce. The reason why we want to break it down to 500, obviously, is because that's about the sizes of a typical monster box, or 500. But also, what's more importantly is to be able to make a more apple-to-apple comparison. So what we did is we opened a safety deposit box, as you have seen in my other video. We deal with the Bank of China a lot, and I'll make another video about why, and why particularly Bank of China is our preferred choice, and also in terms of allocation of different precious metal into different type of storage. The reason for that. Now, to go back to the discussion about Bank of China, and we want to show about our annual fee structure here. So, and breaking down into months. So here is an invoice of our Bank of China storage. Our safety deposit box, again, we kind of, for the testing purposes, will pick pretty much the smaller size. The smaller size is about 2-inch by 3-inch by 10-inch safety deposit box, and in total that's about 60 square inch, and it fits just about exactly 500 ounce. Actually, I think if you were to really make room, you may be able to fit like 600 ounce max. So I think it's a fairly good apple-to-apple comparison. So if you break that down, 570 Hong Kong dollar divided by the tag rate 7.75, you're looking at about $73 US per year. This is, again, annual fee, as you can see indicated here. So if you divide that back out by 12, you're talking about $6.13 US dollar per month. So that is approximately the same as $7, which we calculated earlier per 500 ounce of storage at the precious metal dealer that we're dealing with. So now I do want to touch on the point that we are working with someone that it's not just allocated, but it's also audited. So I want to just briefly go through that. So here is a audit report which was done in the middle of the period. It's an annual audit which specifically said that this third party went and audited the procedure below, which essentially says on behalf of the customer, we went to audit and we're able to identify the bag containing the customer's inventory. Now, and I want to show you a picture of the proof. So here is the proof with a signature, right, indicating pretty much what I showed earlier, right? It's the same report saying my 1,500 ounce of 110 ounce bar and 500 ounce bar, and here's the signature and stamp. So I think definitely when you're doing allocated, there's other information on the website about picking to make sure it's allocated and it's audited. So finally, I want to talk about sort of the end summary of all this auditing report is that when you are doing the comparison, we were doing the comparison for silver, right? So again, if you're going to be making that rough approximation, which is yes, I think the cost structure is essentially the same, but there are actually one other caveat I want to make sure that we briefly go through is the invoice amount. So one of the things that we're a little bit unhappy at the end of our storage is that here's our invoice. So at the beginning of the period, a lot of these storage places actually charge you some administration fee. In this case, we're being charged an annual administration fee, again in US dollar. So in this case, we were charged $200 US at the start of the period. And as it gets charged annually, we actually got to charge another, obviously on the second year. We intended to only keep 1 year, but right at the second year where we didn't carefully monitor the periods, we went just slightly over because we kind of forgot about it in terms of the annual date. So make sure you book that calendar depending on how long you're going to store it. If you're going to store it forever or a very long time, I guess that doesn't make a difference. In our particular case, since it was a trial or test, we intended to just keep 1 year. Anyways, so we end up being charged another $200. So if you actually add that up, which means we actually pay $200 for first year, $200 second year, all bad, plus a total of $20 times, let's just say $7 per month, which adds up to $84. So we end up actually paying a lot more than we intended versus what we would have been charged if we were to have done this at the banks. So just to do a quick calculation, 200 plus 200 plus 84, which end up to be 584. If we divide that back out by 4, we end up paying about $40.33 per month versus $7 or $6 at the bank. So all in all, I think watch for the administration fee, but the overall storage of, if you were to be doing silver, it's fairly reasonable between storing at a bank versus precious metal dealer. But I do want to mention the benefit of storing at a precious metal dealer is, first of all, you wouldn't have to be lugging or transporting your precious metal yourself or via a carrier, which you have to pay additional fee. But secondly, what we found that the reason why we actually continue to do some storage at a precious metal dealer after this particular experience is that we were getting a preferred rate on selling back to them. Now, obviously, why they do that is because since our storage was with the precious metal dealer themselves, the materials were the precious metal actually never left the vendor, so there is no question about whether or not this could be counterfeit. So they didn't have to do any lab tests because they never even gone to your hands. So when we're selling back to them, we were getting a preferred rate. So I think that's actually a major benefit. If you intend to buy and sell, be able to sell quickly and without worried about whether or not what you have is counterfeit, I think the quickest solution is to keep it at a precious metal dealer for the amount that you are not going to keep as long-term storage that potentially you might sell back to be able to raise quick cash. So that's all for the video. And last thing I probably want to mention is gold. So now, if you were to be doing this in gold, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to cost you a lot more. So we do a calculation for gold. I think if you do the breakdown, if you're going to store gold, you're probably better off storing at the bank storage in terms of the cost fee. First of all, depending on how much you're going to be storing, if you're just going to be storing a handful, like up to like 500 ounce or less, because even 500 ounce of gold, that's a lot of money, right? 500 ounce times today's rate of $1,200, that's like $500,000. Okay, so storing at the bank is probably going to be a much better option rather than paying what I was saying earlier for 500 ounce. You're literally paying almost an ounce per month. So that's paying I would say, if you do a rounding, probably 10 ounces of gold by storing 500 every year. So I will probably prefer just storing at the bank. I'll make another video in terms of other things you have to worry or think about when looking at where to store. But in terms of just a pure cost breakdown for silver, I think it's okay storing at the precious metal dealer. But for gold, you probably want to think twice and to see how you want to do a breakdown. Thank you. I hope you guys like this video and that helps you to make your decision. Please press like, subscribe to the channel, or check out our website at goldbugasia.com.